Welcome. Please welcome.
The Outdoor Project Podcast. Hear real conversations from industry leaders on the latest in the hardscape and landscape industry. Brought to you by Sensenig's Landscape Supply. You're now streaming the Outdoor Project Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Project Podcast. Today we have Phil Bahler from Pave Tool Innovators and another special guest that we've had on for the second time, Josh Jones from Mass Hardscapes. What's up, guys?
We're lucky for Mass Hardscapes
Privileged
twice.
to be
Now.
here.
This is cool.
Honored to be a part of your podcast. It's great.
How's the Techo shows been for you guys?
Busy. So it's keeping us quite busy. 30 plus shows around the country and up into Canada. So it's been a good trip, and all the other shows in between. So they're not the only shows that we do. So it's a busy time for us.
Techo, man, they put an amazing show together. It's crazy how many people they can reel in for one of these shows.
It is amazing. They, I've seen shows they've had 600-700 guys in a room before in some of their different shows. So it is amazing what they do.
It's got to be good for you guys. I mean, you're Pave Tool Innovators. I mean, you're able to put a display up. You got all those eyes on your products.
So our product is visual, as you know. A lot of our tools you can look at on a wall, and they don't mean anything. But the second you take them off and start talking about it and explaining them, it takes on a whole new meaning. And so the shows are effective for us. The guys can actually get out and see it. We got a lot with the videos and whatnot, so the guys can actually see on the video screen how the tools are being used in the proper setting. So it definitely helps being able to see it physically.
Yeah, and then you got Josh Jones over here, this big mogul on Instagram, who's using all your tools and being able to be the R&D for these products that you're making. I mean, it's got to sell for itself right there.
It does. He's been awesome. Great support. I love having him with us on a show. A lot of people recognize him from Instagram, and a young rock star for sure.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to see him grow. It's been really exciting.
That contractor to contractor relationship is huge. You know, I know during the intermissions at the Techo shows, you guys are swamped over there. You know what I mean? So when you're handling almost the technical part or kind of explaining, you know, he can really talk about the contractor relationships with the tools itself. So I think that works really well.
Right. Yeah, it's been cool for me to be able, and it's the same for Phil, obviously being a former contractor, you can relate to guys. You're not just like a sales guy who's saying, oh, like buy this stuff because it's going to make you better. Like it's genuine because like it's helped my company.
I mean, that's the whole point of these tools. I kept hearing that quote yesterday at the Techo show. You want to take the hard out of hardscaping. I mean, it says it right there. These tools are there to make your life a lot easier.
So yeah, I would agree with you. It's been in my blood since I was a kid. So I started in 1985 as a hardscaper, and literally we laid our first patio in 1985, and we fell in love with hardscapes early on, and I spent every day of my life in the field. So being an owner, that was one way we were able to control quality in our company, and there was 4 of us brothers, and I was the runt of the litter. So guess who got stuck doing all the work? It was me. So I was out lugging block and installing pavers and miles of walls, and it was just I was every day I'd be so frustrated with how barbaric our industry was and how there were no tools. So we spent first probably 15 years we'd plow in the wintertime, consumed a lot of our time, tied us down. And we got to the point where I was saying, why are we doing this? We made money maybe every third year. And shame on us, we probably could have done a better job as far as managing the snow removal, which is hit or miss in Connecticut. But we then faded out of the snow removal, and we just really focused on how can we be more effective, more efficient, be more profitable in the 8-9 months that we work in the season, and be able to obviously reap the benefits and in the winter, not be so tied down. So in the wintertime, we'd cut, torch, invent our own tools and come up with systems, bring our guys in early from the winter break and just train them on how to do certain tasks to try to get our, product, I say from pallet to pavement. That's really what it's all about. Obviously, product comes on all these pallets, and you got to get that in the ground and looking proper. So pallet to pavement, it's important. How can you do that? What's the fastest, most efficient way to do that? And we did it. We did it through tools, through systems, and through the best equipment on the market. I'm a huge advocate of do your research, figure out what piece of equipment is best for you. It's amazing. I always say math doesn't lie. if you put pen to paper, it's amazing in the end of what you can find out about your systems, about your equipment. And that's really what we do with a piece of equipment. You can really figure out what's this really costing you. And it's amazing. I mean, you're going to take a guy now, this day and time, it's going to cost you probably 50 to 60 grand by the time you put on your labor burden on top of any kind of employee, and then take a piece of equipment that might cost you 50 grand, and yet you're gonna dedicate it out over 15 years or 10 years. So it's a really amazing on how little this equipment really costs you. So if you buy the right equipment, and I know I really appreciate Josh is a huge advocate as far as really doing his research and find out what piece of equipment really works for you. And obviously got all the different heads now on the end of the excavator, the rototilts and the twists and Encon, and some of those that, shovels are almost obsolete if you get good enough on a piece of equipment. It's amazing. And then coupled with clamping and suction equipment, it's just amazing how you can take the heart out of hardscaping.
That's it.
I think going back to your business too, I think there's a big trust factor. You were a contractor and you're selling products to contractors, because you've been through it. And I think people tend to buy into companies when that's the factor. I mean, everybody here at Sensenig's Landscape Supply, we've done the work, you know what I mean? So it's a lot easier. So you hate to say sell the product, but we're selling products that we put our hands on, you know what I mean? Right. So there's a huge trust factor.
I always say, too, passion breeds passion. In our industry, it's been amazing from just being just simple landscapes to now you see the passion that goes into some of these projects. And you're really gaining people a better way of life, the outdoor living. It's amazing. When we first started, we started doing all driveways. We said, buy your last driveway first. We were promoting driveways, and we do driveway after driveway. I mean, we did a lot more square footage back then than what we do now as far as pavers. But it's been amazing, the transfer that we've seen of all of a sudden saying, why would you spend 60, 70 grand on a driveway when you could spend 60, 70 grand in your backyard and really enjoy it, not just drive on it. So you got the curbside appeal, so to speak. So we transitioned probably 15, 20 years ago into becoming your backyard specialist. And I encourage guys a lot of times to find something that you're really, really good at and just really focus and hone in on that, because you can get much more profitable. Your guys are trained much better on that, where if you're doing 15 different things all the time and you're constantly switching gears, and even our own company, it's set up, we have dig out crews, and then we have installation crews. And we have crews that can we have one or two crews that do a little bit of landscape, and we never did. But in the last probably 10 years or so, we've gotten into a little bit more landscape because our customers said, we want to work with you guys. We just want to work with one contractor. So we kind of transitioned to try to meet that need. So we do have some talent that we hired on to do the landscape end of it, but we primarily focus in that hardscape end of it. But if you can focus on just what you're extremely good at, you find you become much more profitable. And you can have your systems. Systems is a whole nother thing that you can talk about with not only tools, but just a system, and having a consistency. Repetitivity obviously breeds greater productivity. And so the more you can do something over and over and over again, you get better and better at it. And that's kind of the way we're set up with the different crews. It really helps us to be more profitable.
Yeah, and faster. You're able to keep that same ethics and what's the word I'm looking for? You're able to keep that product still top of the line,
right, but
still be able to do it faster, because that repetitive nature that you've kept doing it at, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I think we look at a lot of these young guys that are just starting, their business, and they come to us and just for a little consulting or whatever. My biggest thing is the tools. Making sure you have the proper tools, and there's a contractor in general that started off last year, and he's doing great work. He always has, but he worked for a bigger company and went out on his own. And my thing was, you have to get the tools right from the start. So he went and bought suction, and then he bought tread clamps or tread setters and stuff like that. So right off the bat, he made the right decisions, and he's on top of his game right now. You know what I mean? And he's probably one of our best installers because he's doing it right. And he took those steps to make sure his business was headed in the right direction right from the start.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. And it's amazing because we see a lot of our young contractors starting out. If you can get them started the right way with the right tools and systems, it's amazing how much more efficient they are. and they're more apt to retain help. And that's one thing that we can talk about maybe a little bit about. The industry we're in is extremely, everywhere I travel, guys are having an extremely hard time finding help to obviously work in our industry.
And retain them, too.
And retain help. And again, like us up in this part of the country, obviously it's seasonable. You know, it's seasonable business. So you're working 8-9 months, maybe a year. So that was one thing that we spent a lot of time on to focus in. And we would really hone in on how can we be more profitable. And then we did some profit sharing with our guys. So we consistently do profit sharing that at the end of the year, if we hit profit, and our guys know exactly what we need to make for profit. And actually it's gauged every week or every couple of weeks. We try to bring our guys in. We do a toolbox meeting on Fridays, and they can see what the profit's supposed to be. And if we hit profit for the week, we'll give them donuts. If they come in, they see no donuts, they know that we're behind schedule. So it gives them a little shot in the arm. We also job cost every job. So at that point in time, we can go through the jobs, and it's as a group, the entire company, on this Friday morning, and we'll go through the jobs. And if we're profitable on a job, great, we move on. Might look at another job, say, oh, we're down. We didn't hit our profit margin. What happened? Okay, well, it was weather related or wrong material got delivered. We had to swap something out, something simple. Okay, that's explainable. All of a sudden you say, no, we were profitable. We moved. Everybody was on your game. There's no, why are we losing money? Okay, now you got a bid problem. So we're able to keep track consistently early on in our jobs. And I always relate it to a ball game. You don't want to find out if you're playing a baseball game in the ninth inning that, oh, we're down. You want to know what your score is every inning. So that's one thing that we kind of related to a ball game, you know, in our business, that as sooner you can figure out if you got a problem, you can solve it early on, especially a bid problem. You don't want to be consistently bidding a job and losing money for an entire year. You want to know right away. So, okay, no, we gotta tweak some numbers here. We got to make some adjustments. So that was really effective. And then again, doing the profit sharing, our guys, if they know we're hitting a profit, so at the end of the year, our guys would get a 10% bonus of their pay. So a guy making $50,000, he's gonna make a nice $5,000 paycheck, and he can obviously use that to compensate for when he collects. And a lot of our guys do get laid off in the wintertime, so they can use that, and they really have a beautiful 3-month vacation. They can travel, they can enjoy family time or whatever it is. But so that's one way that we've combated trying to retain our help. You know, in the end of the day, guys are like, oh, they're shot and they're doing that back bend, trying to straighten their back out. And it's like, you know, if you can use equipment, if you can use clamps, your excavator, you got the hydraulics on the job most of the time already as far as equipment, you know, whether it be a skid steer excavator. But if you can utilize that in any which way to get the product over to where the guys are laying, I think the new OSHA regulations, 51 pounds that one person can lift, man, that's starting to limit our product. You got about 4 products now you can lift on a job.
Yeah.
You know, our product just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you're more apt, you're getting forced to really use some sort of tools and systems to help with the ease of that. But we found with our guys, even the retaining walls, so we have our clamps for moving retaining wall block, from a job that was so grueling and miserable and all labor-based, to we've turned it around to it's all equipment-based. You know, there's very little picking, you know, and I know Josh implements these with his crews as far as using the clamps and setting retaining walls. And it's amazing. At the end of the day, your production rate at 4 o'clock has never changed from what it was at 8 in the morning. Yeah. Your production rate's the exact same, maybe even better, because you're getting more efficient at it.
Depends what they ate for lunch, your guys, usually.
Right.
Yeah, that time between 1 and 2 is always a little bit of a lag. Yeah. Guys back on track. You don't eat lunch.
Yeah.
No lunch. You're not allowed to eat lunch.
We sell